Welcome to the Recruitment Business Accelerator Podcast. Creating a successful recruitment business is not about you being the best hands-on biller or driving most of the activity for your team. It's about you becoming the best strategist, marketer, and leader so that you can create a powerful business that grows quickly and does not depend on you. For the last 10 years, Nicky Coffin and Katy Green have been advising recruitment business owners just like you to do exactly that. If you want to grow your business by 20% to 250% in 6 months or less, half your hours, and build a powerful recruitment business that doesn't depend on you, keep listening. If you want it faster, visit centeredexcellence.co.uk/apply. Here's Nicky and Katy.
So welcome everybody to the first ever episode of our Rocket Your Recruitment Business live podcast. So I'm Nicky Coffin, your host, and this show is all about fast growth strategies for recruitment business owners. So if you're joining us on Facebook Live, press hi, type hi in the box. It's great to see you here. So just want to give you a bit of rundown what we're going to be doing in these podcasts, because our plan is to share some really incredible, actionable information to you guys. And more than that, we're going to share some case studies of how our clients are actually achieving significant results. And we're going to be also interviewing some cool guests, some world leaders in business strategy, growth, marketing, sales, leadership. And we're going to be sharing with you tons of incredible resources and even done for you notes as we go along in the next following weeks and months to come. So it's all aimed about you getting amazing results in your recruitment business really quickly. So I'm Nicky Coffin, joint CEO of Centered Excellence and Rocket Your Recruitment Business training program. And we are basically an educational, coaching and training business company that works with recruitment business owners and directors who really want to grow their businesses with the best, the newest and most fun business growth mindset and leadership strategies. And the overall benefit of this is that when you apply these into your business, you not only get more control of your business, you'll get more profit, but you can also enjoy a whole ton of more time freedom. And we always say this, our motto is, it's great to be hugely successful and making great levels of profit, but actually to be doing that with balance and with continuity within your team, so that it's the business that's growing and you've got balance within your world as well. So we really help our members by delivering these things through live training, also online training, coaching and mindset transformation. And we've been doing this now for a really long time. In fact, over a decade. We've just hit our 10th birthday. And over that time, we've helped over 400 recruitment business owners to achieve significant results in their business. Now, prior to that, I had my own recruitment business. I helped to set this up when I was about 23 years old, and we grew that pretty much from scratch to 3.2 million GP business. And I've always loved business. I've always loved winning. I've loved competition. I was also an elite athlete for many years. And 10 years ago, I sold my shares in that business and set this business up so I could help other recruitment business owners do what I'd done, which is to scale their business. Now, I'd love to also share and introduce my amazing business partner and fellow co-host, the amazing, fabulous Katy Green. So a bit about Katy. She has a far more impressive business record than me. She was MD of a global leading recruitment business called Aspire, where she started as a recruiter and worked her way up to MD. She was there for 15 years. And she helped to significantly grow this business to an 8-figure recruitment turnover, running a team of 65 fee earners and managers. And one of the most, other than the fact that she's amazing, one of the most impressive things about Katy that she doesn't normally say is she managed to get her 65 fee earners to do on average 150K per head, which I can tell you is extremely impressive across the board. So she is a master at sales, business growth, mindset and leadership. And so without any further ado, Katy, welcome.
Hi everybody. Wow, what an intro. Thank you, Nicky. not worthy. Thank you ever so much. I'm absolutely delighted to be co-hosting these sessions with Nicky for passionate recruitment business owners, as I know so many people are, who want to grow their business and grow their profits. And we are going to be sharing leading edge things, techniques, tools, strategies in these sessions for you. So if you want to move your business forward powerfully, then absolutely being on this site in this community is going to give you those hands-on practical skills and techniques straight away. And just to add to what Nicky said, I'm really, for those of you who know me, you know I'm a passionate woman. Passion is my middle name. I'm passionate about recruitment. I'm passionate about helping people be the best version of themselves. And, we do that by teasing out those superpowers that you have within, and we bring those to light into your business. Nicky and I stand for freedom. And when we talk about freedom, it's about freedom to remove the chains that are holding you or your business back, and freedom to build that business that achieves extraordinary results in rapid time with balance and control. And that's, another reason why I'm so excited about what we're going to be giving you in this community, because these are going to be things that you're not going to get in any other area, in any other community, because what we do is we are on a mission as ladies to end those outdated ways of doing recruitment that no longer serve us or our industry or your results. And we're going to be giving you leading edge strategies, the exact steps that when you follow them, you will get the solutions that you need. So, really, really excited about what we've got to share with you. It's going to be awesome.
Brilliant. Thank you, Katie. And there are a lot of groups out there in the world of recruitment that have amazing ideas, loads of information, but this is not a more information world. You need to be implementing. You need to be implementing to get the transformation. And what a lot of they'll give you great ideas, but they don't tell you exactly what and how to implement them. That's what you're going to get from these podcasts and also from the community. So just to say who these podcasts are for, they are for recruitment business owners across any type of recruitment, as long as you're like an independently owned business. We don't work with big corporate businesses. We work with owner managed recruitment businesses, but whether you are in high street, banking and finance, technology, digital and marketing, pharmaceutical, engineering, hospitality and catering, healthcare and education, construction. We've even got somebody who places to the uber rich, they place yacht drivers, board appointments. So pretty much any type of recruitment, these strategies will work for, whether you're contract, temp, perm, executive search. They're synonymous for any type of recruitment business. So you're in the right place if you're in the world of recruitment and you are a leader or future leader or director or senior manager who wants to get quicker results fast. So we're going to dive straight into our content, what we're going to be covering today, which is basically 5 easy steps to gain back your time to increase your productivity significantly. I put 10 times, but you literally can transform your world on this, and also to reconnect with your mojo, your that energy within you that it gives you the hope, it gives you excitement, it gives you the drive to achieve consistently on a day-to-day basis. Because the truth is, when you first start running a recruitment business, you have to actually purposely do everything by yourself in order to survive. You can't rely on anybody else, because either you can't afford anybody else, or you just have to do everything else in order to get the results coming in quickly. But the problem with this is you will hit a point where you want to scale, but you can't, because that what we call rugged individualism starts to cripple your business, because there's simply just not enough hours in the day to fit everything in. And this is what Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, the amazing Dan Sullivan, calls the ceiling of complexity. And that's basically like, no matter how many hours or how much harder you work, you just don't achieve any more results, because it's just physically impossible to do everything excellently. And the only way to then scale up, you have to have other people in your team, whether they are physically in your office or you outsource, you've got contractors. But that's when things start to crumble. That's when the chaos ensues. That's when your time literally gets sucked away from you, because as well as doing your day job, you also then have to train, hire, manage, review, and then run a business. And that's where we find a lot of people come to us because they're having to day in, day out be like the energy of the company. Like if they're not there leading from the front and banging the drum, that things don't get done. And every time they step out of the office, work just literally stops. And it's fine to do that for maybe a year or 2 years. But then if you've been doing that for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, as we've got quite a lot of our clients, it is physically exhausting. And what happens is they fall out of love with the business that they set up, which ironically to create freedom, but they feel trapped because they can't ever escape from it. So something has to change. And these five steps that we're going to give you are really simple things you can implement straight off that will make a big difference to your world. And also, which is more important, about giving you balance, helping to reconnect with your mojo and increase results. So the first point is a mindset point. And when we implemented this and like properly embraced this within this business, our business tripled in terms of its size. And it's the belief or the mindset that actually time is more important than money. And the thing about this is, you know, people talk and get really anal about sort of checking their bank accounts, you're checking how much money we've got in our bank, and if it's reducing, then they do something about it. But actually time is more important than money, because you can always make more money, but you can never get back more time. And, you know, if you look at the world, you know, we've got 24 hours in the day. Everyone's got the same 24 hours, but how come it's people like Richard Branson or Elon Musk or, you know, Mark Zuckerberg can achieve so much more in that 24 hours than other people who maybe don't achieve or hardly anything at all? And it's because they know the value of their time. They know that they can achieve more in an hour than others could do. But what they do is they work to their strengths, and they're absolutely clear on what their time is worth. And so, and I do this, and I know Katy does this too, we will very regularly outsource things that we know that we could do and we might be absolutely excellent at doing, but it's not a good use of our time to do these. And I'm going to use an example just from a personal perspective, because we use this personally and also in business. And if you are certainly a mum as well as a business owner, you know, and you're having to do things at home, you know, cleaning, school run, shopping, cooking, you know, you need to make sure you've got a support network or team at home as well as within the business, because it's just not physically possible to do it all, you know, all the time. So we, for example, we have a cleaner, we also have a gardener, and we do that because, you know, we might pay them £15 an hour to do something that has to be done. And I actually enjoy cleaning, and I enjoy gardening too, but it's not a good use of my time, because I know I could be using that hour that I'm paying somebody £15 to generate something that would leverage over the years to bring, you know, £100,000, 100,000 times that ROI. So I will regularly invest my time to get support and help from other people who are experts in their field, who can do jobs that either I hate to do or actually shouldn't be doing, so I can then spend my time doing stuff that either brings much higher value or, you know, stuff. So what would you rather, you know, going to the gym or going for a nice walk? Would you rather clean the house? And so stuff that then actually nurtures me, that keeps me healthy and keeps my mind healthy, or spend time with my kids, you know. So it's stuff that feeds my soul rather than stuff that I would potentially resent doing. So that would be the first thing, is to get real clarity on what is my time worth. And so we do this exercise in our Rocket program pretty much right up the front, where we get people, we ask the question, what are the 3 things that you absolutely love to do in your business that you know feed your soul and you're really good at? And we get them to write those 3 things down. We then get them to write the things that they currently are doing that they maybe don't like, they're frustrated, they're not great at, and get the 3 things that they are doing at the minute they actually don't like doing. And then we ask them, how much time are you spending doing the things you love? How much time are you spending doing the things you hate? And what's really interesting about this is the things that they hate, they'll probably be spending 3/4 of their time doing these things. And this is things like debt chasing, accounting, admin, creating copy for the website, buying toilet paper. We've even got some clients who clean their own offices. And so we ask them, how long are you spending doing the things you hate? And then how much time are you spending doing the things you absolutely love and thrive to do? And when you look at the comparison, is minimal time on the things that they're actually good at and that they love to do. And we get them to shift that. And this is one of the things that really changes people's worlds, because it's almost the question is, what do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing more of? And it's always the things, like if you focused your time on the stuff that you're good at, rather than trying to fix the stuff that you're not so good at, and put a ton of your time and effort into trying to fix that thing, so you become better, but you're still mediocre. Whereas if you focused your time doing the things that you're really strong at and really good at and became even better at those, you would be able to get significant uplift in your results. So you'd be better off having a team of people who are all working towards their strengths, rather than a team of people who are split across many different areas, working mediocrely, even if they're working hard on trying to fix these things. Then so the thing with this is get really clear on what is your time worth. And once you get clear on that, like every single minute that you waste, it's almost like you might as well burn £10 in the air. But it's not just about the money cost, it's actually about your mental cost. And that is the thing which over time, your mental and also your physical health cost, which is actually more important. So that would be the first tip. Get really clear and get ruthless with where you're spending your time. And my business mentor Bernadette always says, like your current results are a reflection of where you've decided to focus your time in the past. So if you don't like your current results, you need to change where you're focusing your time, and you want to be focusing your time on things that are going to give you a much higher return. And we're going to give you a tip on how to do that in a minute. So over to you, Katie, for the second point.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So the second point is to get crystal clear on what it is that you want to achieve. Now, that might sound blazingly obvious, but actually having that clear intention on your goal is very, very important, because that becomes your guiding star. It becomes, your North Star on actually where is it that I'm focused to? What's the direction in which I'm going? Where is it that I'm actually heading? So what's the goal that you want to achieve? And then everything relates back to this goal. So every action that you're going to take every month, every week, every day is actually going to link back to that goal, to your guiding star. Because when we have a clear and meaningful intention, when you know that your intention, your goal is actually in alignment with your purpose, that's when actually obstacles start to dissolve. And it's much easier for you to find solutions and ways around problems that come up for you on a day-to-day basis. So you're going to find a way to work around them. So I've got a question for you. If you're on the call with us right now, I want you to think about, why are you doing what you're doing? So for what purpose are you doing what you're doing? So in other words, what's your guiding star? What's that outcome that you want to achieve? And what does it do for you? What does it get for you? Now, here's another question for you, because chances are it might not just be for you as well. So are there other people in your life, like Nikki, like myself? I've got my niece and nephew that live with me, as good as children can be. So, who is it that you're doing this for? Do you have a partner? Is it children? And ask yourself, for what purpose am I creating this? And, as I said, it might sound a bit cliche, but actually a lot of us haven't necessarily thought about this for a while. So it could be that you're working towards something that no longer inspires you. Or maybe your goal is not defined enough, or it's not actually what you really, really want when you ask yourself that question. Because often what happens is we set ourselves a goal, but is it really what we want? Because the closer we get to it, we suddenly realize maybe that wasn't what I wanted. And, Nikki, actually, we've got an example of that, haven't we? I just wonder if it would be good to add an example of where we've had a client that thought that he actually wanted a particular revenue figure, turnover, when in reality, as he got close to it, or when the right questions were asked, should I say, he realized that actually that wasn't what what he wanted. Would you be able to give that example for people?
Yeah, so and we find this a lot, people don't realize that you can set your business up how you want it. They think, I need to build like £1 million business net profit, and, it needs to be really big, needs to have lots of people in it. And actually, the way to do it is to say, right, well, what do I want my day-to-day world to look like? How do I want my day and my week to be? So for example, if you've got kids, and you only want to work 3 days a week, how do I then need to set my business up so that I can facilitate that? And how do I need to structure my team? How do I need to structure how we interact as a business so I can have what I want to have? And that will change over time, maybe as the kids get older, but you get to choose how you grow your business. And so we had this fantastic guy called Constanti, and he actually had quite a big business he wanted to sell, and but it would have meant really scaling up. And what actually happened was he came through our training, he also put his managers through our training, and those guys stepped up to the point where he actually even didn't need to be in the business at all. And he said, what I've realized, Nicky, is I don't want to sell this business. I love this business, but also with the guys running it for me, that then frees me up. I can do what I want 4 days a week. And he totally changed his strategy. So the point, I think, with getting clear on like, why am I doing this? What is the purpose for creating this business? But also more importantly, how does it need to work? So I've got that balance, and I put on my notes, like, it's okay to get into work at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning, having been to the gym. And a lot of people that we work with just don't do that, because I think I need to be there 24/7. I need to be the first person in, the last person out. It's your business. You get to choose what you want to do. So but obviously there's got to be structures in place to do that. I'm going to touch on this in another point, but the first starting point is what do I want to create? Why do I want to have that? What is the purpose for me? And, when we set this business up years ago, that took us quite a long time to actually properly ponder on that question. And I did a journaling for, like, going to sit in the park and really think about, like, what was it I wanted to create? How did I want my life to be? And then how do I need to set the business up? So we got that. And so that's the first starting point.
And to add to that around purpose, because this is really, really, it is so important. And the reason being is because we feel most alive when we help others. So it's really important that you understand what your actual purpose is. And more than that, your purpose links then from your company into your company values. And it actually underpins what you do and how you and your team operate. So, and I know a lot of people have company values. And I know often these company values sometimes can just sit on the wall, or perhaps can be on a website somewhere. And it's about making sure that those values are in alignment with your purpose, because that moves your people away from just a job title and description. That actually makes it meaningful and purposeful what they do. And then that guiding light that you've set actually starts to become how you make your decisions. And this is the difference between same people with the same job title. So two people with the same job title, but applying their talents differently. And this will move your business from being a business to a purpose-driven company. Now, why is that important? You might be thinking, well, I'll tell you why it's important for two reasons. One is that our purpose is fundamental to our reason for being. It drives our behaviors, it drives your culture, and therefore it will drive you and your team's decision-making. And secondly, 73% of employees in purpose-driven companies are engaged. They have higher retention and the quality of their work is better. So there are so many reasons to get really clear, crystal clear on what that purpose is for you and for your business, because I promise everything else will just cascade from that.
Yeah, and it always starts with you. So once you get clear on it and you communicate that with your team, it really will shift things massively. Cool. So thank you, Katy. So linked then to that, so once you've got clarity on, why are we doing this, what's our purpose, the next thing you need to do is to get really conscious about where you're spending your time. So this is step number 3. The reason why I say get conscious is because most people live 24/7 in a reactive state. So they come into the office, they switch on their computer, and all these emails come in, and then they start reacting, or they walk into the office and someone asks them a question before they've even sat down at their desk, and they react. Whereas if you are really conscious about where you're spending your time and what you should be spending your time on, what you need to stop spending your time on, this not only will create between 4 to 6 hours back a day, but it also helps you to get real clarity around your boundaries and boundaries of what you're going to get involved in and what you're not going to get involved in. And you need to do this consciously, because for years and years and years, you'll have been in this reactive state, unaware that you've just been being pulled along with the flow of what happens on a day-to-day basis. And you get to the end of the day and you think, what have I actually achieved today? And it's more often than not, I have no idea, but definitely not the stuff on my to-do list. So how do you do this? So we use a really simple tool called the activity inventory. And this is where you can do this as business as usual. So I would recommend you get like a timer and a piece of paper, and every 15 minutes you write down, when the alarm goes off, you write down what you did that 15 minutes before. And I would recommend you do this at minimum for 3 days, but if possible for a week, because it will give you a much better idea of stuff that you've been doing. Every single thing that you do, you need to jot it down. So if that includes going to make a cup of tea, or emptying your paper basket, or answering questions, or delivering on client stuff, you need to write it down. And then at the end of the week, you want to work out what are the things that I've done that have made me money or have moved the business forward powerfully. What are the things that I've been most in flow at and I'm really good at? So these things we call like your excellent things. The third thing is what are the things I've done that have created a level of frustration or annoyance, because either I know I shouldn't be doing them, or I'm actually not that good at doing them, even though I can do them. And then the fourth thing is what are the things that have either given me zero return, or I'm so bad at doing them that I really need to get them off my plate. So you look at these 4 categories, and then the question is, what do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing more of? And then how can I delegate, systemize, or outsource these jobs that need to get done, but not by me? And so, one of the biggest things we look at people outsourcing is their admin, but a lot of, not admin, the finance, accounting, and also admin. But they've been keeping hold and control of this accounting because they're worried that somebody else might not be trustworthy with their finances. But again, if you put a system behind this, so you don't necessarily just hand everything over and say, right, I'll see you in a year, sort out my finances. You still keep responsibility for that, but the other person's doing, if you like, the nitty-bitty admin bits. So that is the second point. So you want to work out, what can I delegate? What can I systemize? What can I outsource so it gets off my plate, but it still gets done? Okay, so over to you, Katie, for number 4.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, it actually follows on so well onto the point that I want to talk about now, which is about creating laser focus. So Nikki's already mentioned that, we all have the same time and we all have the same constraints over that time. So what's really, really important is absolutely about where you choose to spend that time and energy. And, none of us can cheat it. So we're all in the same boat. So it's really important that you get crystal clear on those areas that are going to have the biggest impact for you and the biggest influence. Because if you look at any billionaires, any entrepreneurs, they focus on the things that have a small input but actually have a massive output to them. So that's what Nikki's talking to you about in that section. So that's what we want to do. So we want to make sure that we're absolutely clear on where we're going to focus our time. And then what we have to do is we want to build like daily disciplines, habits around that time. Because here's the thing, 40% of our habits are reactive. They're totally unconscious. So when you think about that, we've got to get really, really clear on having the right types of habits in our daily discipline that are going to lead us towards that goal. So we've got our guiding star. We know where we need to spend our time. So actually we want to build daily disciplines and habits around making sure that the actions that we're doing are the right actions. So you want to be doing things like minimizing things that will distract you or take up your time. So having done that activity inventory, if you know the things that are going to be your distractors, then you need to make sure that those things are removed from you. So one of the things that we do, and I learned this from the master herself, Nicky Coffin, is to create boundaries around your time. Too often or not, and I was there when I ran a recruitment business where I wanted to have an open door policy, and I wanted people to be able to come and talk to me and interact, not feel like the MD was just stuck in an office behind a door. So I allowed people to come up to my desk. However, what that could lead to, and did lead to in some circumstances, was then not having clear boundaries around my time. And that meant that people could be asking me questions every 5 minutes. And we've all been there, we've all done it. You might be sitting at your desk, you're typing away, somebody comes up, they start asking you a question, and you want to be polite, you want to look up and engage, but actually what you want to be doing is sitting there and continuing what you're doing because they're distracting you. So it's not that person's fault they're doing that, especially if you have an open door policy. So to get around that, you need to create boundaries around your time. And that means communicating and having expectations with people about when those times are that you are not accessible to people, that actually you need to get your priorities done. So that might mean you need to have a conversation with your team and just explain, look, guys, actually from this time to this time, so whether that's core hours from 10 to 12, I'm actually going to be working on strategic things that are going to be supporting our business and you as a team. So therefore, just to let you know, look, during those hours, I'm not accessible for questions. And actually this empowers people because it means that they can either buddy up and support each other to come up with solutions, or do you know what? They're actually going to come up with the solution themselves. And this again was something that I found a really powerful positive of just creating those boundaries around your time. So create boundaries around your time. Another technique that I use that I learned, which I find really, really effective, is when I create a discipline of having a structured time to do something. So let's say, for example, you've got your list of to-dos. And on that list of to-dos, there are 3 business critical things that if you don't get them done this week, they are going to prevent you from reaching that guiding star. So what I do is I turn all my distractions off. So email, pop-ups, anything that might come up on your computer that could distract you. Put yourself, if need be, either work from home or put yourself in an office where there's no distraction. So turn anything off that could distract you. Then you're going to pick up your phone or on your PC, you're going to set a timer, and you're going to set that timer for about 60 minutes. You can either do 60 minutes, no more than 90 minutes, because from a attention point of view, you will start to drift if you do it for any longer than that. My preference, my perfect time for me is 60 minutes. So I set my timer for 60 minutes. I block everything out and I get on with that action and I do it until it is done. And trust me, if you work a day in your week like that, where you have your timer set, you get the action done, and you do that whole day, you will get 10 times more done in a day than you do in a week. Now, one thing on that, once you've set your timer, if you haven't completed that task, you might get up, you might give yourself a 5-minute, just walk around. If you need a bathroom break, whatever it is, cup of tea, and then get back on it. And that is such a great way of having laser focus and to get things done.
Yeah, so and just one of those, like, it's you just keep doing it until that action is finished. Done. Yeah,
absolutely. And just one final thing on that Nicky spoke about previously, which is about 3 business critical things that you work on every single week. So we have a tool that we use with our clients, which is, it literally is a laser focus tool, which works for a period of 90 days. Now, one of the key things that we do within that tool is get absolutely clear on what your business critical actions are that you need to focus on. So here's a question for you to ask yourself every single morning before you start work is, what are the 3 business critical things that I need to do today which will move my business forward powerfully?
And that's a great question also to ask. So you've got daily 3, you've got weekly, what my 3 business critical things this week. Because the thing about, if you've only got 3, that gives you wriggle room. If you only achieve those 3 things throughout the whole week, you can still leave on a Friday or a Thursday and go, tick, I've had a really good week. I've moved my business forward. And because stuff happens, there's stuff that you can't control or calculate. So by having just the 3 business critical things makes it much easier for other stuff to come in and you still feel like you're moving forward. So that's really, really key. Just one more thing I wanted to add on that is it is important that you do have time with your team, one-to-one and as a team. So there will be certain meetings that you want to block into your diary that you know are going to happen every single week. So for example, I knew I would always do my one-to-one reviews on a Friday morning. So that got blocked in my diary. It didn't move. And that was my time for those guys. And then on a monthly basis, we always had a one-to-one sort of performance analysis review with every single one in our business face-to-face. Again, those got blocked in my diary for the whole year. Also time for yourself. So we do it on a Monday morning where we do like a whole total business review for the week. Review of the week and then a plan for the week forward. That's blocked in the diary. It doesn't move. So you're starting to put boundaries around your time, and the only person that's at fault if this doesn't work is actually you. And if people keep asking you questions, that's your fault, not theirs. It means you need to have a conversation with them about boundaries around time. But the sooner that you do this, the more balance you're going to get, I promise you. And the quicker that you cut out stuff you shouldn't be doing, honestly, it's like clearing out a really messy drawer or a really messy room, getting rid of the crap, and then suddenly it's like you feel like you can breathe. And this is a similar thing we're talking about with this process. So the 5th and final step that is really key if you want to get ease and flow and your time back is accountability. Now, what do I mean by that? This is about you and your team having absolute clarity on what they need to achieve each and every week that is really specific, and it's achievable. And that they know what their responsibilities are and what their activity is. Because once people have a number and they know what they should be doing, then one of 2 things will happen. They will either do it or they won't do it. And if they don't do it, we have a way of looking at it slightly different. Rather than just either ignoring it, which a lot of people do, or just getting really annoyed, it's this saying, it's not your people, it's your process. So if they've not done it, either they don't know how to do it, or there are not enough reasons why they need to do it for them. And where, therefore, in my process do I need to tweak to actually get them to do it? So, for example, if somebody hasn't hit their KPIs, I don't know, they've not sent out enough CVs, they haven't got enough first interviews, they haven't made a placement, I would be looking at activity, by the way, rather than financials, because if they do the right activity, the financials will come. Then I'd be asking the question, what stopped you from being able to achieve your 4 first interviews? What stopped you? And this is then a coaching or a training issue that you'd be helping them with. And it's your responsibility to make sure they're accountable. You're not the person who's doing the action, but you are responsible for making sure they're accountable. And it's really important that you've got carrot and stick accountability. And we see loads of carrot, motivational stuff in the world of recruitment. Not much what happens if they don't achieve it. And so it's really important that you have a review system in place. And by that, like weekly review, one-to-one at the desk, definitely monthly review, but that's linked around clear and tangible activity that they need to achieve. And if they're not achieving it, that's either coaching or training, or actually you've got the wrong person in the role. They're not capable of doing it. So that's where your coaching and your training hats come on. But you need to have a system in place, and a system in place for accountability. And that will give you a ton of time back. It will mean that your guys start to be self-motivated, more driven. It means you're not having to drag that horse to water. It means they're actually coming to the game and putting themselves, in the forefront of driving their careers. But you are the catalyst to that. If you don't hold them accountable, you don't follow up, then guess what's going to happen? Nothing. You've got to start stepping up for them and encouraging them and getting them to step up for themselves. So that is our final part of the process. Katie, is there anything else that you would like to add on this?
Probably on just one thing on the accountability, and this is a big thing that I still hear in recruitment, which is where the follow-up, that follow-up with people, monitoring and evaluating and making sure you follow up, because so often people have great one-to-ones and they cover some brilliant content. They get really clear on what the action plan is for their team or for that individual. They set them off, they're motivated, and then they don't follow up on it. And for that individual, that's really actually quite disempowering and demotivating, because they've walked out of that meeting, they were really clear, they've gone and taken action, and actually no one's then coming to check, well, how did I get on with that? So not to underestimate the importance of you as their manager, having that time with them, and also that follow-up and making sure that it happens. And the other key thing about that follow-up is, as you're saying, it's about helping them, because you'll be able to spot situations where maybe they're not getting exactly the right outcome or result that they want, because there's one question that they're not asking in the recruitment process. And or you can give them those practical tips on, okay, well, great. So what was your outcome? You got, let's say you got a certain outcome. Okay, how could you have done that even better? Or what would you do next time? What would you learn? So there's so many things that will support them. And the more accountable you are, the more accountable they'll be. So if you follow up with them, they'll take action.
Yep, totally. So we have this saying, be the change that you want to see. And so once you start to do that and do that for yourself, so like Katie and I have, in the group, we have our weekly accountability that everybody posts into the Facebook group, but we post our accountability each. So we hold each other accountable, linked to our yearly vision, our 90-day plans, apps. We've got our 10 key business priorities that we need to achieve as a business. And so everything links back to those plans, but on a week-to-week basis, we stand up and, we'll say, yeah, we've done that, or actually, no, we haven't. And then we haven't. And this is the plan of how we're going to do it. So hold yourself accountable, either with your team or up peer-to-peers, which is one of the great things about the program, is because other people are making sure that you hold yourself accountable as well as yourself. Cool. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. So that is it for today. I think it's time to wrap up. So what I wanted to say is we have got a brand new closed group Facebook group, and it is called, I'm just going to post this into here, and hopefully this works. It's called the Recruitment Business Accelerator. So if you want to ask us questions about what we've discussed today, we've got any questions around your business, and like literally anything from mindset, leadership, sales strategy, systems, structures, procedures, sales, marketing, anything around business growth, this is a place to ask it. And so it's if you go into Facebook, and it's called the Recruitment Accelerator. I've put the link on the page, but it's not showing the whole thing. So it is the Recruitment Business Accelerator. And if you just press invite to get invited, if we do vet people who come in to make sure we've got the right people in the group, get yourself invited. And if you're great, then we will invite you in and come into a whole host of other resources and input about rapid business growth. So thank you guys for being on our first ever podcast, and we will be doing these weekly. So we will see you next week at 11:30 on Facebook Live. And by the way, if you're listening to this recorded, it means that this is a recording, so you can't ask live questions, but you're probably listening when you're at the gym, or you're driving your car, or you're going for a walk. So welcome to the podcast livers, and thank you so much for the Facebook guys to see you live online. Cool. All right. So
yeah,
keep
thanks, guys. you soon.
Bye.